Forever. Dog.
Toss your dirty shoes in my washing machine, heart. Baby, bang it up inside. I'm not wearing my usual lipstick.
Don't be spoiled. The rest of the song isn't about laundry.
I thought maybe we would kiss tonight.
That's Mitski with Washing Machine Heart. Starting out with some suds for your buds. Welcome to the podcast for laundry. I am your host, Brett Davis. This is a podcast that's meant to be listened to while you're doing a load of laundry. You can throw it in, you could listen to the podcast, take it out. It's an experience crafted for that act, and boy, do I have a really exciting guest here with me. We're here in the Ridgewood Wash and Fold in Ridgewood, Queens, and I've got America's sweetheart,
Oh, God.
Hayden Maxwell.
Oh, hey, Brett.
Thanks for being on the show, Hayden.
It's my pleasure. It's absolutely my pleasure.
So you are the host
Yes,
of a podcast called Only the Best for Hayden Maxwell.
that's right. Yeah.
You go through, you bring a comedian in. It's the 2012 Sight and Sound.
Yes, top 250 greatest films of all time list. And so what usually happens is that a comedian comes on and we watch a pretty esoteric or hard to watch foreign or art film or usually a film much older than the person is used to watching, and they usually don't like it and are mad at me,
Okay.
and then we just deal with that fallout. And I've
Sounds-
burned many bridges.
It sounds fun.
Yes.
I've been a guest on a couple
Yes.
times.
Yes.
What do we do? Bellatar. which I
Yes,
hated.
you watched Belatar's Werkmeister Harmonies, which is a 2.5-hour movie about a dead whale.
Videodrome.
Which is a great movie, which you didn't like.
I didn't like.
either.
But then I did like the one about the nun. What was it about nuns?
It was about a woman accused of being of a witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of. It's called Day of Wrath. Carl Theodor Dreyer's Day of Wrath. Worth checking out on a Filmstruck if you got it.
I liked those, but like I said, over and over in all of these reviews,
Sure.
biggest problem, no laundry.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if we saw in the medieval one them like washing their clothes by the river, but it's not
Nope.
coming to mind.
I was waiting for it.
Right.
And I'm sorry if I came off grumpy on those podcasts because, I had an itch that wasn't scratched by these supposed greatest movies of all time.
That's fine. It's just that you wouldn't like express yourself, and you became very despondent.
Yeah.
And like I would just try and discuss the movies, and you kind of would grunt, and would really rely on the other guests to.
And thank God there are other guests.
Right.
Are any of these movies that you've reviewed, do they deal with laundry?
God, none are coming to mind.
Fight Club has a laundry scene. You must have.
Fight Club is not in the Sight and Sound's top 250 greatest movies of all time, much to the consternation of many IMDb users.
Huh.
Which is, I believe, in the IMDb top 10.
Yeah.
Right, where it should be.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, we're just looking at the Sight and Sound list and being like, what a bunch of idiots. Obviously, IMDb got it right. Shawshank Redemption #1. Fight Club.
Is there a laundry scene in Shawshank? Yes, there is.
There is? You know it for a fact.
Played it recently on the show.
Okay. Yeah. Well, what is it? Where he gets raped? Is that part of it? Or is that in the shower?
Yeah. It's
Yes.
part of it.
Yes.
Oh, it's he gets attacked.
Sure. I think he gets raped. Right?
I think it's vague.
Okay. All right.
Baby Driver, that's on the list, right? I guess it's older, so it's an older list. but
Right. Certainly in 2022, when they do it every 10 years. Certainly, Baby Driver will crack at least the top 250. I don't know about the top 100,
Okay.
But I mean, you covered extensively My Beautiful Laundrette.
Yes, is that on the list?
It's not, but it's a great. It's I wouldn't call it a great movie, but it's good. It's very good. Daniel Day-Lewis is probably the hottest he's ever been.
Yeah.
He is just a punk off the street that you just want to take into your own home. He's fantastic in it.
But it really does a great job at showing the laundrette.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a rock star laundrette that like everybody like wants to hang out in.
Yeah.
Like it's a place where people go not even just to do laundry, but to meet people.
Do you hang out at the laundromat?
Not generally. No. I would say that this is pretty close to where I live, so I pass by it.
This
every
isn't
day.
your laundromat.
No, this is not my laundromat. But
Sorry, I tried to pick the place that seemed right on the map.
No, I live in Bushwick. Ridgewood's really close. Mm-hmm. But I pass by my laundromat every day, and I'm kind of friendly with the owner. When I come in to drop off my laundry, we kind of know each other, and he knows what.
So you already have this. Sorry, it's been a few weeks since someone said they do drop off. Last week we had Sunita Mani, who is a TV star.
Yeah,
Just
Glow.
a robot, Glow, and she just goes and she does her laundry.
Okay.
And she loves it. Darren maybe does his own laundry. He was on recently.
That's great. Yeah. I different strokes for different folks, as Sly Stone would say.
But I think some strokes are wrong. I think that's what he was trying to say. And that, there are different strokes, but some of them are the right strokes.
Okay. I don't think that's what... I don't think
those different folks are bad because they're different.
I don't think that's what Sly Stone and his family were trying to communicate with that song.
Okay.
I think that's the exact opposite of the meaning that he was coming up with. But that's your meaning and that's your interpretation. That's valid.
So you do drop off.
Yeah. I mean, I'm out a lot during the day. Mm-hmm. Laundry takes 3 hours or so.
Live in that New York City life, too busy to just sit down and, So you talk to these people.
Yeah, there's an older gentleman who runs the laundromat, and he has his I believe his son works there with him as well.
All right, let me just say this about older people, and I'm not trying to be ageist, but when you think of older people, senility, the incontinence.
This guy seems sprier than you, to be quite honest. He seems.
Well, I'm a little bit down these days, but I'll get into that later.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear. If you want to talk about it,
I just want to get this drop-off thing out of the way because you're giving the senile old man. How long does it take?
Okay, he's not senile, and again, and he's. I want to say older, but he looks great. He's skinny. He looks like he works out. He's
Sure. All right. So you're dropping off to Jack LaLanne over here. Do you ever have problems? Do you ever find a missing sock? Do your clothes are ever maybe a little too folded poorly?
No, absolutely not. They're folded much better than sometimes when I do my own laundry. Sometimes it'll just sit by my bed unfolded for maybe half a day or a full day before I get to folding it. So it's actually
you have to fold right out of the dryer.
I know. Well, that's the thing. That's what I like about drop off is that he folds it for me and I don't have to worry about it.
I say this a lot. It's a wicked game.
In what way?
This is a cautionary tale.
Okay.
from the time I tried, for the sake of the podcast, drop off. I didn't have time, but I had some laundry to do. I was occupied, but now I know that's no excuse. I never dreamed that I'd drop off laundry to you. And I never dreamed I'd lose my respect for you. No, I don't wanna do drop-offs. No, I don't want to do drop-offs with you. What a wicked game to play. They said it'd be okay. What a wicked thing to do. I put my trust in you. And they lost my sock.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention they wouldn't, they also wouldn't clean my clothes when they found out
Somewhat.
I mean, I don't see what the problem is. If you're just dumping it into a washer. Like, what are they inspecting the clothes?
They were
to make sure they're dirty? Yeah, they are dirty and they need to be cleaned.
Right. So do you have especially soiled clothes that they?
I didn't say soiled.
Yeah. So they were too dirty that they didn't want to touch it.
They were soiled, but I didn't say soiled.
Right. I just kind of assumed, like, what would cause them, and their business is to do laundry. What would, I mean, they're used to dirty clothes.
Yeah.
You got to imagine, there's dried things.
Cum?
There's dried cum on some of the clothes that these people.
Piss?
Sure. And that's why, or like, poop. It's New York City. People puke when they have a little bit too much fun sometimes, and maybe that's on it. It's part of the trade.
I had some fecal matter in my underwear because...
I think poop is where I would draw the line as well. I think poop...
I don't think they are in the business of drawing lines unless they are clotheslines to hang up the clothes that they just washed.
Did you come up with that right now?
I did.
That was really good.
And they returned the clothes to me, and I was missing a sock. And so that is a personal relationship.
Did do it or they didn't do it?
They didn't do it.
I'm hearing two different stories.
I know. It sounded crazy to me too.
Okay.
But I brought in a bag of clothes. They must have opened it up, started tumbling it out, just letting things fly out where they land. And
so you shat your pants.
I didn't shit my pants. I was not for my laundry experience, I was wiping well enough for me to do it. But I guess for other people to do it, I was not wiping well enough for them to do it.
Okay, so this was all over multiple pairs of underwear. Mm-hmm. Great. And you dropped it off. They didn't notice it at first because it was in there. It was in multiple pairs of underwear that you wouldn't notice just by looking at it.
Yeah.
So you came back and they said, we couldn't do this laundry.
They said in a thick accent, which I won't replicate.
Okay. Yeah.
I won't do this.
Totally.
There's poop in the underpants.
Right.
And I said, fine. And that is a personal relationship that I thought I trusted these people because I go to the laundromat as it's a religious experience. It's a corridor of dreams, the cacophony of cleanliness. It's a place where I find my inner peace. And now
it's the cacophony of cleanliness.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
It's the machine's whirring. It creates a white noise.
Sure, okay,
that
yes,
envelops me like
that's
a
the
cozy
cacophony.
blanket.
Yeah.
And now I can't go to this laundromat because
You had a little spat.
we had a little spat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one less laundromat that I can go to.
Well, lucky for you, there are, it seems like, more laundromats than McDonald's in New York City. So,
I would hope so.
yeah.
Most of these laundromats are independently owned and operated.
That's fantastic.
McDonald's is an evil corporation.
Hey, yeah, yes.
And I'll say it right now. McDonald's is evil.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, totally.
So if you guys are McDonald's, if you're listening and you want to sponsor the show, no thank you.
No, thank you.
Tide, however,
Uh-huh.
I would love a Tide sponsorship for the show.
That would fit well with your demographic, I suppose, and your. I'm hoping for Mubi, you know.
Yeah, that would be good for you.
Yeah, but you, yeah, Tide.
Yeah.
You know, we all got things on our vision boards, don't we?
And we got a thing right here on the table. If you notice this little Tide Pod,
Oh,
it is
yes.
a Tide Pod. It's a little discolored now, but
Mm-hmm.
this is Poddington 2.
Mm-hmm.
He is my Tide Pod. I don't want to say I'm
You're not borrowing this Tide Pod.
well, he is my Tide Pod in that I am the parental figure of it.
Okay.
In my own mind,
I
which
think-
I know is a thing.
No, I think this is
People
a
are
great.
weirded out when I say I'm this Tide Pod's dad.
Mhm.
But
I think it's a step up from you having a sexual relationship with
okay.
a bottle of Tide. Yeah, if you want to look at this little peanut and try to teach it the ways of the world, I think that's healthy. I mean, it's what most people do with like animals when they're not ready for kids. They have
weird.
cats and dogs, and that it's nice to look after a thing. It's nice to be responsible for something. I think that's great.
Well, I did have a sexual relationship with the Tide bottle, but I also had an emotional relationship with the Tide bottle, and I don't want to get into all that. But we used this Tide Pod in both. So if at any point you want to just turn the tide
Yes.
of the conversation, then you just grab on Poddington 2 and you spin them so that the color facing you faces me,
Great. Yeah.
and
no.
you'll actually turn
No, I listened to the
tide.
podcast. I'm well aware of the pun.
of the conversation.
Yes.
So, what's your history with laundry? Let's get into that.
Okay, great. I was wondering when we were.
Let's dig in.
Yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I had a hamper. I put my clothes in the hamper, and my mother would do my laundry, and then the clothes would be clean, and I really wouldn't think about it too much. And then when I was an adult, starting to take care of myself, I started doing the laundry. I don't know. There's really not too much to say.
Okay, that sentence you just said, it pissed me off so much that I had to restrain myself.
Okay. The last one,
Yeah,
there's really not too much to say.
because for how many episodes? For over a year, well over a year, I've been bringing guests in, talking only about laundry. There's so much to say.
Yeah, I have to say, when I first heard about your podcast, I thought there's no way that could maintain 10 episodes. Mm-hmm. But and for the most part, I think that's proven to be true in that the laundry department. But I've been fascinated for, if you'll excuse the pun, the soap opera that's been your life.
That is a good pun.
Yes. That has been unfolding.
I get another really good pun, but I don't think that's what the general audience. I mean, people aren't looking for the Brett Davis Life podcast.
That's exactly what they're looking for.
No, they're looking for the podcast for laundry. You wouldn't know that just if you're scrolling through iTunes, you wouldn't know that there is this story that's happening. Sometimes it maybe bleeds into the show a little bit.
Okay, another good pun. right?
It
Colors
wasn't even
bleeding.
Yes, it was a good pun. Damn it. But no, I think people are here for the laundry content, laundry tips, Brett's cleaning clips, suds for your buds,
Yeah.
the clothesline.
Look, I just know from circumstantial.
Bleach, please.
Yes. I know from my own life and through talking to people about it. A lot of people have been asking, what's going on with Brett. And I'm like, you don't need to ask me. You just need to listen to this podcast because it's very revealing, and we've gone through a lot of ups and downs. It's one of the only podcasts I know that was recorded in a prison for an extended period of time. There is that, like, I don't know if it's This American Life, but there is an adjacent podcast that was about prisoners, like putting on Hamlet, right? Or maybe the whole thing.
My show wasn't about prison; it was about doing laundry.
Right, but again, I listened the whole time, not for the laundry, but to hear how you were doing in prison.
Is this? No. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question to you, the listener. And just for my own sanity, so I don't feel like I'm talking to a void, please give a verbal affirmation. Just say yes. Do you listen for the laundry content? Hold for yes.
Okay.
I think at different times, because this isn't a live show,
Sure.
millions of people just said yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I just said yes. Well, there you go. Okay. Yeah. Hey, whatever helps you sleep at night, I'm just telling you, this isn't a bad thing. This is not a bad note. Your life is fascinating. It's kind of a train wreck. And
it's not a train wreck. I did lose my job recently.
I guess I haven't listened to the most recent episode. You're no longer working for Marky Mark?
I wasn't working for Marky Mark. I was working for Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
Marky Mark is a different person.
Sorry. Yes.
That's Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
I guess I can say it on the podcast. I was working for the actor Mark Ruffalo. I was trying to keep it secret.
Right.
But we had an incident last week. I had been getting these vague threats via text. They were from who I would learn is a crazed murderer. He didn't kill anybody. But he would have.
Okay.
He was a guy I had actually been in prison with. His name was Reggie.
Okay.
People that listen to the show maybe know him as the "Let me smell your cunt" guy.
Right.
That was his fun catchphrase that he would say on the show to not just the female guest, anybody. And
So it wasn't a sex thing.
it wasn't a sex thing.
Right. It was just more of a thing to say.
It's like a fun thing you say to your friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it might have been confusing in the chaos because it did unfold while we were doing a recording. I sent it off. I haven't listened to it. It was a scarring experience, but I was with
Literally? Are you scarred?
No, I'm
Did
not
he,
scarred.
Did he stab you at all? Or?
No.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear.
It was so Sunita and I were just talking about laundry, and there were noises coming in. I was getting these threatening texts. As a father myself, I realized not only are we in danger, but these kids are in danger too.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm glad it took a Tide Pod for you to realize that. Okay, great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it did push me to a limit where the fight or flight kicked in. I was like, I would sacrifice one of these children to save myself.
Yes. That's where. Yes. That's the problem. Yeah.
If we're talking about Poddington 2, I don't know.
Not a real child. Just a bunch of soap.
To me, it's different. But
I understand emotional deference and like again, like learning
Mm-hmm.
through pretending like pet ownership or what, learning how to
It's
be
not a pet.
responsible for something smaller than yourself, something,
Mm-hmm.
something that but you have to understand the difference between that and a human being.
Well, yeah, I did understand the difference.
And you didn't care. You just,
Well, I got mixed up is all. Mm-hmm. The two of the kids were in the laundry room, safe and sound, doing laundry. Worst case scenario, if the murderer came in, they could just hide in the washer dryer. But the oldest son, Keen, he was in his room, and the murderer was trying to get me and Sunita just by association, and I may have tried to direct the murderer towards Keen, who was extra scared, and I thought would not be. It seemed like the weak link in this scenario, and I realized it's just Reggie. He's my friend. He was mad because long story short, drove a guy to kill himself by smashing his head into the wall because his face was mutilated by me, and he was mad that happened. And I didn't kill that guy, and I explained that to Reggie. Reggie seemed to kind of have a moment in the eye of the storm, and he got himself out, and I thought I would be the hero in this instant by drowning him.
drowning Reggie.
During, his moment of like peace and calm, his guard was down, I would drown him. But instead I drowned Keen.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And Reggie just kind of watched on.
How did that happen?
I guess because Reggie was he was in the eye of the storm. He was in a piece. I was very much in the storm.
And you couldn't tell the difference between a small child and a
very dark, and he was not small. He's a teenager.
Okay.
So he's got a growing adult body, and we had a full bathtub because we were making soup, and I was.
You were making soup in
plunged
the bathtub?
That's another long story, but I plunged his head in there, and he
Was it boiling hot? Is it soup?
It was hot water, yes.
Okay.
Not boiling hot, but as hot as a shower can get.
Okay.
And I held him down there for maybe a minute, and then I realized what I was doing. He survived. Reggie got to go home, and I thought this was a chapter that in a book that I now closed.
Sure.
Over I get this call from Mark. I guess Keen called him up, and he said, Brett tried to drown me. There's a murder in the house.
And he didn't even tell the whole story.
He did mention the soup.
The soup, right. And what did Mark say? He fired you, obviously. Yeah.
He was real nice about it, I gotta say.
Oh, good. I'm always glad to hear when celebrities are nice.
Yeah, he was like, Brett, I don't know. And I heard about all these, I don't know.
Yeah.
This sounds crazy,
Yes. Yeah. He said, I just don't feel like I can count on you.
Yeah, he's like, we
get it?
put the kids in your care. I thought it was crazy when, we hired you off the street, and I'm sorry. And yeah. And it's actually a crazy story how I was hired. Do you want to hear it?
I've heard it.
Okay. So yeah, it's now I am unemployed again. Got a little money in the bank. But
Right.
I'm gonna spend that on laundry now that I don't have in-house washer dryer.
Right.
So if you are one of the few like Hayden that are tuning in for the soap opera of my life, I just there you go.
I mean, you must have a good. How long were you a nanny for?
About 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah.
I know people who nanny for celebrities, and you make a good living.
Who?
I'm not gonna say.
Let's just say the celebrities' names.
There's I don't follow basketball too much. I just know somebody who is a nanny for a basketball player. I can't remember their name.
Or is the basketball player looking for a different nanny?
No, absolutely not. They are very happy with my friend.
Does the basketball player have other basketball players in the area that are looking for nannies?
This basketball player is, I believe, going either to Portland or Los Angeles this coming season. So it's not in the area at all.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where he got traded to. LeBron's in LA.
Oh, okay.
And he's LeBron's good friend and former teammate.
Okay.
And I feel like they're separated now. Don't want to say too much more.
I don't follow basketball well enough to pick up on these clues you're dropping, but I'm sure eagle-eyed listeners are. And I'll say this: I got addicted to the life, as Dusty Rhodes once said. I've wined and dined with kings and queens, and I've slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans, and I've done both. And I've got to say, whining and dining with the kings and queens, much better.
Yeah.
I've literally been homeless. I've literally been in prison, and I've literally lived a 5-star A-list celebrity lifestyle.
Sure.
That's way better.
Right? It's like in the Jerk, right? In the Jerk Steve Martin movie.
Yeah.
They ask him what was it like to be a millionaire, and he says it doesn't suck.
Yeah.
I think
It doesn't suck.
it doesn't suck.
So
There's a reason why people want to be rich. It's because there's a lot of anemones.
So I am online at Brett Davis, RIP.
Yes.
That Tim Lintz in London was the one that suggested playing Mitski at the top of the show.
Yeah,
Shout out to
I
Tim.
heard this album this past week. It's a very good record.
Not about laundry.
The whole record? No. But it has that what it's called Washing Machine Heart.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Are you? This is a win for you if you want laundry content.
I do want laundry content, but the song is not actually about doing laundry.
It's a metaphor.
Yes.
That's good.
Well, what about the songs that are about laundry? Those are the ones that I like.
Right. Literal songs about doing laundry. Mm-hmm. I can't think of too many off the top of my head.
I've got one.
Okay. This is not a real song.
No, this is a real song. This is by Edward Train.
Yeah.
Came out in 2013.
This is a parody song of a real song.
But listen to the lyrics.
Our garments could use cleaning. What keeps the dryer spinning? The need for glistening skivvies.
And the video's really good too.
What?
I recommend you check out the video. All DIY.
Oh, great.
But you wouldn't know it. This guy's a master at green screen.
Okay.
And if you're listening to lyrics, you're going to hear that all of these lyrics are about the act of doing laundry.
Yeah, it's just kind of a fun little parody song of the real Daft Punk Pharrell song.
Who says what's the real song, though?
I think if you asked Eduardo Train, he wouldn't say like
Edward.
Edward? I'm sorry. Edward?
Edward.
How do you spell that?
EDUARD.
I'm sure he wouldn't say that I had a passion to write a song about laundry. I think he probably was just goofing around like Weird Al does with the sounds of the popular song, and then he was like, okay, well.
Would you say Weird Al's songs are any less artistic because they are song parodies?
Are they less artistic? No, like I appreciate a good parody
So
song.
how is this any less artistic?
I'm not saying it's more or less artistic. I'm saying it's not a real. It's a novelty song.
I'm just gonna spin the video and just describe what you're seeing.
Okay, there's a woman who's in her underwear, kind of. She's doing laundry. Mm-hmm. And there's a man, and now a woman again. She threw a bunch of cash. She's going through her clothes. Now they're in a alcohol store, Maker's Mark. My clothes all stink and they yucky. No, you're right. There's equal artistic value in both.
Now, think about the Get Lucky music video. Did it have any of that stuff in it?
I don't think I ever saw the Get Lucky music video.
And you're missing, there's a guy in a stormtrooper mask. There's a guy doing the plunge and scrub. There was a Blues Brothers homage at some point. There's so much going on in this video that's unique and creative and artistic.
Totally, I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying it's a novelty song. Like, by definition.
What isn't a novelty song? John Cage. Sorry, it's not John Cage. Sorry, it's not Laurie Anderson.
Yes.
Sorry, it's not Yo-Yo Ma.
That's okay. You don't. That's not what I'm saying, but okay.
We're up all night till the dawn. Folding my pants is such fun. Really had to get it done. We're up all night to do laundry. We're up all night with reruns. Infomercials for steel buns. When Showtime gets real naughty, we're up all night.
Okay, I don't
When
like that.
Showtime gets real naughty?
I don't like that. It seems like he maybe ran out of stuff to say about laundry.
What does that mean? Is that that means that there's cum on his clothes?
I just think that he's focusing more on the up all night part of the song than the doing laundry.
See, even
towards the end.
Edward Train can't keep an entire song.
Well, no. I'm just saying this is
about
maybe not
laundry.
the perfect example of a song about laundry.
Right. I just don't think you'll find a song that is, from the seriousness of one's heart about actually doing. Like, he knew that it was a silly thing to write a song about, which is great. I love silly things.
I don't know. There are better songs out there.
Okay. I trust you. You are the expert in this.
Yeah, I'm doing laundry. Yeah, I'm doing laundry. Yeah, I don't mind folding it, but my kids always ruin it.
Now, does this sound like a parody, a novelty?
In 10 minutes after I
It's
finish
he's
it,
emoting.
the hamper's
Totally. This is, yeah, I mean, I'm not too familiar with modern country, so it could be
This
a
is not
parody.
modern country. I'd say this is country-tinged art, alternative grunge.
Wow. Well, I'm not familiar with that either, so there could be a country tinged. What did you say?
I don't. Let me see how they describe Temple of the Dog. Temple of the Dog is American rock supergroup, grunge alternative rock. Vocalist Chris Cornell, may he rest in peace.
Oh wow.
Yeah. This isn't Temple of the Dog.
This is a parody
This
song?
is the Holderness family.
Okay, yeah, yes.
Doing a Temple
so
of
it
the
is
Dog.
it is a novelty
But
song.
it's not a novelty song because that source material is serious, and what they are talking about is also serious.
Can you find me one song about laundry that is not a metaphor and not based on another song?
I'd have to go through my archives.
Okay. But it's telling that there isn't one off the top of your head.
You know what? I'd like to thank another listener to the show for this assist, Becca Acosta of New York. Passed me this song by Nivea featuring R. Kelly.
Love it till you get started about boy, let's stop wasting time. It's pretty clear that you's a lie. Tired of sitting around hearing all your phony alibis. Powder, bleach, I'm headed to the laundry man. Let's not forget the food stains. But I'm headed to the laundry man.
And I'll stop it there.
That's great. No, it's really great. The only problem you have is that R. Kelly is accused of being like a sex trafficker.
What?
You haven't heard about this?
R. Kelly?
R. Kelly?
Yeah. The Trapped in the Closet Space Jam R. Kelly?
That's the one. Yeah.
He's a sex trafficker?
Yeah, he has like a sex cult. It's a whole thing.
No. Now you're just messing with me. That's not cool. I like R. Kelly. I mean, I don't love R. Kelly.
Yeah.
But remix, it's the remix to Ignition.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah.
The greatest?
Yeah, the greatest song, maybe.
Right. I was saying that the song, The Greatest.
Oh, I don't know that song.
Okay. So you haven't delved too deep into the art. And,
no, but
and
again,
like a lot
such
of
a fun guy.
Yeah, he does. But he's not. He loves to, underage women. You don't remember the peeing thing before? All this was
no.
Look, it's not a pretty subject. R. Kelly's a bad man.
What's wrong? What did he do?
Again, multiple things. He's kind of groomed a lot of young women to worship him and like again like kind of have a sex cult.
I think with this show, I'm grooming a lot of young women.
Okay, I don't think you
to
want
worship me because and it's not a sexual thing. It's just
I'm
doing
crazy
this show about
that you're
laundry.
trying to spin. You're trying to you don't have just because you
Nivea,
played that
Laundromat,
song.
Give It a Spin, featuring the great talents of R. Kelly.
Yes.
Regardless of what he's done, I think we'll always have the great music he created that we can appreciate.
That is true. The music is out there, and it is up to you if you want to promote it on your show or not.
Wait a minute. I'm getting Bounce. Bounce is a laundry detergent.
Bounce. Right. Yes.
Bounce. And then it's the laundromat. I'm gonna think about it.
That's good. Again, I would be wary of I know that you want to rebrand yourself after the kind of bad press you've been getting lately. I'm rooting for you.
I've actually been getting good press. We were recently on the Vulture's podcast to listen to.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's great press.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
If you look through the archives, we've been on Podmass.
Sure. I just know that a lot of people think that you're a murderer, and have been accused of sex crimes.
I'm definitely not.
I don't know if
I've been accused of sex crimes and then cleared of the accusations.
You went to prison for the sex crimes.
Yes. And then someone else went to prison for those sex crimes because they did them. Joe Rumrell, pervert.
That's just not true. But
Joe Rumrell, pervert.
I think he's
Pervy
probably
Joe Rumrell.
The opposite of a pervert. He is clean as a whistle.
The opposite of a pervert is right now in prison for sex crimes. Sure.
Okay. All right.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show, Hayden.
Hey, it was my pleasure.
You're a really talented person. It's a shame that you've got this weird world for you where everybody's a sex criminal except for the actual sex criminals.
Okay. All right, Brett. It was great to look you in the eyes while you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to see it for myself. Thank you for having me.
And I recommend people check out the Holderness Family. This video actually has user submitted shots of a giant family laundry, and I'd like to give a special shout out to the laundry family, the family who I taught to do laundry, the Ruffalos. Thank you so much, and I will find a way back into your lives.
Oh, God. Okay. I think you should probably respect their boundaries. If they want to go their separate ways with you, you should probably respect that and look for another vocation. I don't think you're capable of handling.
We're up all night to do laundry. We're up all night to do laundry. We're up all night to do laundry.
Forever Dog.
This has been a Forever Dog production. Executive produced by Brett Boehm, Joe Cilio, and Alex Ramsey. For more original podcasts, please visit foreverdogpodcasts.com and subscribe to our shows on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Keep up with the latest Forever Dog news by following us on Twitter and Instagram @ForeverDogTeam and liking